Okay, I thought I would do a video on putting a halter on. So what we're looking for is again, the goal is to make sure that the halter feels safe, and as a result, the horse will put his nose in the halter. And so what I'm looking for right here, I mean, the first thing is I'm presenting, there's like this little space where they put their nose in, and I'm presenting it to him. And so clearly I could have put the halter on right there, but I didn't want to put the halter on. I wanted to present the halter and then have him put his nose in it, even if it's like a micromillimeter, if that's even a thing. And so after I didn't put the halter on, then he disengaged and walked away, and that's totally fine. So there's one rule, which is to just be grateful. And if you're grateful, I mean, ultimately what that means is that there's no complaining. And if there's no complaining, because you can't complain about things that you're grateful for, or you don't complain about things that you're grateful for, then when you don't complain, then you can't blame because nothing's at fault. And when you don't blame, then you can't shame because everything was enough. Because according to Brene Brown, the definition of shame is that something was not enough. So you see, because I didn't shame him, I didn't put any additional pressure on him, I just let him be, and I said, okay, great, so you want to go work over here. So I just walked over to the fence and met him over there. And then because there was no stimulus to that, it was just enough. Everything was enough. Then he engaged back with me, and I was able to draw him in, and I happened to draw him in right to the perfect spot for the camera view. So you see there's licking and chewing, so this is the feeling safe, and he's feeling safe within the halter, and then he pulls the halter out, or pulls his nose out of the halter. And that's fine, I'm just letting him process this, the licking and chewing. I want his nose to come down. I want you see those soft eyes? Those are soft ears. They're kind of rotated back at a 45-degree angle. Very soft eyes, low head. And then when he puts the halter on, meaning he puts his nose into that basket, then I lift it up. Basically what I'm saying is, oh, what a great idea. You want to put this halter on? So I just present it. And then, as I lifted it up there, he lifted his head up. I'm assuming that he lifts his head up because he probably hasn't had great experience with getting a halter on or a bit. And so I'm just, whatever the reason is, it doesn't matter. It's just clearly there's something there. And so if he wants to pull his head out, that's fine. I let the horse have his own agency, but you see, we just come right back to it. And that's why I'm okay with that. So here, I'm just kind of checking around that ear. I kind of mentioned that earlier in another video. And so it's like once he gets up around that ear, that's when he lifts his head up. So again, perfect example of it's not about putting the halter on, it's about helping the horse feel safe. And so he walks off over here, and just like you saw a second ago, he just happens to be out of frame right now. So I'm just over there doing the exact same thing, and I'm just trying to draw him in. You can see the shadow there. So I was able to draw him in. And people look at that as like, crazy hippie horse voodoo or something like that. And it's really just about building a connection and always helping the horse feel safe. I couldn't draw him in a little bit further. So what I figured it'd be easier to do, letting him have his agency. What he's telling me is this is where I feel safe. So I thought it'd just be easier to like shift the camera view. And so just going to go right back to this. So I'm presenting the basket, as they call it. And it's just right there. It's just a little, his nose is just a little in it. And I'm just looking for him to put his nose a little deeper into that basket. And I'm just trying to do whatever I need to do to help that feel safe. There was a micro movement that he put it in, and so I acted like I was going to put it on, but then took it off, right? It's the paradox. So give me what I'm looking for, and I'll give you what you're looking for. And it's like that Diamond Rio song, we'll meet in the middle. So we're just right back to this. Right, there goes that head. And that head's going up because my left hand's getting up by that ear. See how high that head goes up? Now remember, head up, brain off. Head down, brain on. So I was waiting for that head to just come down a little bit. Now whenever you're trying to correct something, I hate to say the word correct. Whenever you're trying to like let the horse fix it, you want the horse to self-regulate, you want to take the smallest little movements in the right direction. So even though that head may be really, really high, I'm going to work with it up there. And as soon as he drops it just a touch, I'm going to get out of there. Because that'll feel good to the horse. So then he'll be like, oh, well, I'll lower my head even further next time. So here I'm presenting it. He's like, nah. And I just stick with him. I want to make sure I keep his attention. And then he comes back. There must have been a little micro movement that I can't pick up. At least I can't see it on the camera. And so that's why I would have put the halter on. Here's me. Apparently I like to use... The proper way to put a halter on is with your teeth. And I guess that's probably a good thing, right? As long as the horse feels safe, like, get creative with it. So we had worked on that a couple times. He kept putting his nose down. Eventually, yeah, there, right there. Oh, that's awesome. So I just took it to the next step, and I put that up and over. But notice I didn't tie it until that head came down. So I just kind of held it there and waited till he turned his thinking brain on, because that's going to be him thinking through it. And what we want to do is we want to get the horse used to getting the halter on in that state of mind. See, I made that micro adjustment for him to get his nose back, so he turned away and I just slightly touched it. What I'm looking for is if I just barely touch on this rope, can you feel, like, are you paying attention enough, and will you respond? And he did. So that was great, and that's the end of this video.